Hello, 1, 2. Everyone hear me? Everybody, I'm Rich Gladman from Bridge. Going to be presenting to you, standing in front of the projector, stand here. Presenting to you for about half an hour today, I think. Creating effective learning journeys and development plans with Bridge. Just to give you a sense of what you can expect from today's session. Firstly, we're going to talk about what we mean by developmental learning or development-minded learning. Then we'll talk about nurturing development habits, those critical elements that are required to put those methodologies in place. Then we'll talk about specifically why those methodologies are really, really important and valuable to your employees and to your organization as a whole. And then we'll finish off by talking specifically about how Bridge can help you or support developmental learning through our learning and talent development platform. And then I might jump into a demo, if you like, if it works, if the Wi-Fi works, and maybe spend a bit of time in Bridge showing you how to craft and create those learning journeys. So let's start with what we mean by developmental learning. So when we think about the traditional learning that we deliver to our employees, it's all very one-dimensional. I think we've all probably had experiences, for example, when we join new businesses. I know I've joined new businesses where they've maybe had training for sort of 2 or 3 weeks. So quite intensive, and they think they're doing a good job, and maybe they are to an extent. It's like drinking from the fire hose, and they're just like, okay, off you go and do great things. It's like, well, hang on a minute, a lot of that hasn't stuck. There was a lot of information, and I haven't had a chance to even apply that knowledge. A lot of it's going to dissipate. Nothing new about what I'm saying to you guys here. This is not exactly revealing information, but we all know through our own experiences and through various studies that this is not how we learn best. In order to sort of create effective, development-oriented experiences, you need to engage employees in different ways. And so the McKinsey report that was launched back in 2019 was showing that organizations moving towards engaging employees in different ways through learning journeys. Wow, I'll have a little dance while I'm here. Through learning journeys, seriously. So learning journeys offer way more comprehensive learning experiences because they combine that traditional learning, the sort of fire hose stuff, but with more opportunities to put that learning into practice, to ask for feedback, to have practical discussions, to reinforce the training, to ask questions. But the big difference is, it doesn't happen in that one moment in time or that 2 or 3 weeks of training. It's much more iterative. You know, learning journeys are providing knowledge and experience over a much greater period of time. Here's some learning, have a chance to practice, get some feedback, that type of thing. Way more effective. I've got the clicker, but okay. Okay, so use cases. There are many, many use cases where learning journeys are very, very effective. We sort of alluded to onboarding in the previous slide, but other things like promotional training or manager training or leadership training, upskilling journeys, this type of thing. It's very much a trend. The McKinsey report called it out in 2019, but we see it too. We see it with our clients in Bridge, now starting to build learning journeys and delivering learning journeys through Bridge. Not that they're abandoning traditional training, absolutely not. You know, there's a time and a place for that in isolation. For example, compliance training. It makes a lot of sense to deliver compliance training in more traditional means. But if you really kind of want to focus in on those development experiences, learning journeys are a really, really good medium to leverage. And so the next few slides, I'm just going to be sharing a few learning journeys that our clients have created to give you a sense of what they might incorporate. So this one, several steps, 12 steps, spans 3 weeks. So not just that kind of one and done type of scenario. In this example, you've got those more traditional elements, live trainings, courses, supplemented by videos, but also there's more experiential elements. So in this example, the employees are going to be undertaking that learning first of all, a bit like the fire hose training when you first start a business. But then they're going to get opportunities to set goals with the context of that learning in the background. After a time when they've been working towards those goals and putting that learning in place, they're going to get opportunities to request feedback. How am I doing? What could I improve? Also opportunities to meet with their managers for one-on-ones. Is everything okay? Does everything make sense? And that type of thing. So quite a simple example, but really effective by nature of, here's your training, but here's a bunch of experiential elements to help you apply that to get feedback and iterate. And that's kind of what makes it so effective. This example of a career advancement journey, so the previous one was obviously onboarding. This example of a career advancement journey, way more extensive, like 56 steps, 8 separate programs, each one building upon the last one. So much more progressive journey, employees working through one level and then moving up to the next level. For this one, the client doesn't really set time frames given the length of it. They sort of work through in their own pace. But it's much more heavily weighted towards the experiential elements. So lots of opportunities to do job shadowing, watching someone do the job, doing the job under supervision, balanced with the opportunities to speak with managers and mentors for coaching and feedback. So you're really allowing that employee to build out an experience profile, like a resume, to sort of demonstrate that they have the skills and the knowledge to transition to more advanced roles. In this one, the more traditional elements, the articles, the videos, the e-learning, way more supplemental in this example. This last one, coaching journey, so more leadership development aspects. As with the other examples, numerous steps, spans 3 months. And again, as with the other examples we saw, combines those more traditional learning elements, those formal elements, with those more experiential elements, opportunities to put learning into practice with job shadowing again. This one has more project work. Also, this one has the requirement to do self-assessments. They do one of these Myers-Briggs personality tests as part of this. It kind of culminates in like a final assignment in the form of a capstone project where that learning can be put into practice. The outcomes of that learning and those experiences can be demonstrated within that project to say, hey, I'm ready for the next coaching opportunity. I'm holding this, but I can't get used to it. So, yeah, as you've seen, so learning journeys can span many, many different use cases, all unique in their own ways, but they've got many common themes. You saw that they all incorporate that traditional formal learning. They all incorporate those more experiential elements, opportunities to put learning into action, job shadowing, that type of thing, opportunities to ask for feedback, to reflect through conversations with managers, mentors, coaches. Also, in some instances, there were opportunities to set goals, think about our aspirations, what are the objectives we're trying to achieve. But I think what learning journeys really, really do is that they really cement the fact that growth requires habit. It's not just that one moment in time thing where you insert a load of knowledge and then you're good at something. It requires a continuous cycle of activities over time to really instill that mindset of growth into an individual. It's that learning, but it's that experience and time that really makes learning effective, and that's what we call learning journey. So we've spoken about what learning journeys are and the benefits to employees and whatnot. There are clear benefits to the organisation to investing in and creating and delivering learning journeys. These are quite self-explanatory, but I guess it bears repeating. So retention and attraction, it's a big consideration of most people when they're going to work at an organisation or indeed stay working at an organisation. Is that organisation going to invest in me, help me develop professionally? Through learning journeys, if you can demonstrate to people, hey, this is how we do things, it's not just a bunch of onboarding training. Over time, we're going to iterate, we're going to give you feedback, we're going to help you move along and upwards. That goes a long way to helping people decide that you're a great place to work. Not surprisingly, if you're going to invest in employee development, you're going to see an increase in engagement, productivity, because people feel more valued, their work is more meaningfully connected to their longer term aspirations. And Journeys does that actually, because Journeys not only helps you understand those aspirations, but it gives you the learning and the experiences to work towards them. So you get much more engagement. And finally, learning journeys are great for helping you close those skills gaps in the organisation. You might have spotted these skills gaps that you need to close. They're critical. You need to close those to make yourself more competitive. Most organisations expect and accept that there's going to be skills gaps. Through learning journeys and the methods we've been talking about, you can much more effectively reduce those skills gaps by undertaking that methodology, which obviously then has positive repercussions. People are going to be better at their jobs, they know more, they're going to be producing better work, and the business becomes more competitive. I'm simplifying, but I've only got 15 minutes, but you get the idea. Right, so talked about developmental learning and benefits for employees, benefits for companies. Let's just switch gears a little bit and talk about how Bridge can help you kind of craft and create those learning and development experiences and journeys. So, Bridge is an all-in-one learning and talent development platform, quite unique in that respect, because we really believe that learning and talent development, performance management, go hand in hand. They correlate. They're two sides of the same coin. You don't have performance management in this system and learning management in this system. It's a bit nuts. Doesn't really make sense. The two things should go together. They should be cohesively and meaningfully linked. And we've developed Bridge to optimize that concept, essentially. So Bridge comprises a really sort of powerful and beautiful LMS to develop and deliver all types of learning, traditional, informal, progressive performance tools, one-on-ones, goal setting, skills assessments, all that kind of thing. Also really great career development tools to help employees articulate a career vision and build up, set up plans to achieve those visions. So yeah, really a bit of a one-stop shop for all of your talent development needs. Final slide, you'll be pleased to hear, then we'll get into a demo. But just to set the scene a bit for the demo. So we develop Bridge very much in line with the challenges our clients face. And on talking to our clients, one of the biggest challenges they face, especially when delivering learning journeys, sorry, I'm standing in front of the screen, is managing those experiences and managing them at scale. Because what we find is a lot of organizations are running these types of processes, but very manually, like Word documents and Excel spreadsheets. I've talked to a bunch of people today that are doing just that. It's ticking off things as they go. It's not a great experience for the employee or for the manager. Organizationally, it's difficult to track. It's impossible to scale. So the learning journeys feature specifically within Bridge was built to overcome that problem. The journeys feature in Bridge is, I guess, Bridge's roadmap to help employees navigate those learning journeys, reinforcing those growth habits, all the while automating the administration of them. So you can create very unique and customized learning journeys for all use cases, the ones we mentioned earlier as well. You can build learning journeys with those traditional elements, with those experiential elements, but really the greatness about it is the fact that, is the fact that you can really, it gives you the power to dictate exactly how those experiences come across to the learner. You can set up every single step of the way, from the traditional steps, what are they, the experiential steps, what are those, the timing between steps. You just build it, and then you step back, and everything launches when it should in the background. There's no need to keep coming in and assigning people to the journey. You don't have to come in and assign the next steps to people on the journey. You just set it up and you forget about it. It really does give you the sort of the control to deliver automatically and at scale just-in-time learning journeys for the entire organization. Now, I've made it sound really good, so now I'm going to have to show you and put my money where my mouth is. Let's just jump out of these slides. Now, the Wi-Fi at this show is very, very spotty, so I'm really hoping this works, otherwise I'll be scuttling off with my tail between my legs. But anyway, more music. Really? Okay, I'm just going to carry on talking. Can you hear me okay, Drew? Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. I didn't know we'd be competing. It's quite off-putting. So, okay, we're 15 minutes in, that's fine. So, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of a lot of the features in Bridge that you might use as the building blocks for journeys. Because then when I dive deep into journeys, you're going to understand where that stuff is going to be coming from. So yeah, this is Bridge. Bridge is a learning and talent development platform all in one. I've already said that. At its core, because when Bridge was first built, it was just an LMS, a really lovely one. But over the years, it's developed many more features that kind of give context and meaning to learning. Those things I mentioned, one-on-ones, goal setting, career conversations, skills assessments and things like that. All of those things that you might want to incorporate into a journey as well as the learning itself. So let's jump into some of the features. So initially I'm going to start with the Me workspace, okay? So in the Me workspace, everything in the sub-menu is to do with my development and growth. So my career vision, my development plan, my goals, my feedback, my learning, which is where we're going to start. So with any luck, excellent, let me just refresh that. Oh, it did load, okay, brilliant. So this is the kind of learning side of Bridge. Really gorgeous, very simple to understand what to do. I want to register for a live training event. I go ahead and click here. I want to go look at my required learning, my mandatories. I can see them right here. I can see my completed learning. It hasn't loaded properly. I'm going to refresh, beg your pardon. Look at my completed learning. If I scroll down a little bit further, I'm going to see my recommendations. I'm going to see sort of certain categories. You'll also notice that there was an added by you section. So with the Bridge learning side of things, people can also explore. They can go to the learner library, maybe if they've got something they want to learn as part of their broader career aspiration, they can go find it here, or if they've got like a problem at hand that they want to solve, they can go find it here. I'll just quickly cover some of these things. So as I mentioned, you can deliver all of those traditional learning items that I was talking about. So registering for live training events, it couldn't be simpler. Bridge obviously is an LMS, so you can deliver all sorts of e-learning content, whether you've got subscribed to LinkedIn Learning, you've got your own SCORM libraries, or Bridge has got its own authoring tool as well, so you can build your own courses within the system. Maybe you want to utilize your subject matter experts to sort of decentralize and scale the creation of content. Yoga Cat, I love a bit of Yoga Cat. But you can jump into this course, you've got the ability to add richly formatted text, images, some social elements, quiz questions. Bridge also comprises really powerful video tools. So if you want to go ahead and create video or upload video, but make it interactive, create playlists, add brilliant. I'll just talk about it. I will demonstrate through the medium of interpretive dance how this actually works. Oh, come on, Bridge. Do your thing. I'll refresh anyway. You can create playlists, you can create chapters, you can allow for commenting. Love it. Our booth's over there. I think the router's a bit too far away. But just take my word for it. You can do really good things with videos. I'll actually jump out of here because I don't think it's going to load. The other thing you can do in Bridge with all of these different modules is create programs. These are more short form learning pathways rather than journeys. So it's quite easy to set these things up. Take an e-learning course. Next thing is you're going to register for a live training event. Next, take another e-learning course, another e-learning course. Then maybe go ahead and do a checkpoint. What a checkpoint is one of those experiential steps. It could be it's about, you've watched this video, you've taken this course, you've been to that classroom, show me that you assimilated that information. Can you apply it? Upload an assignment, or maybe answer a few questions, or upload a video of you doing something like that, or a report. So that's kind of what we call programs. And then we'll get into journeys in a little bit. I'll just quickly, briefly maybe cover the authoring side. So I mentioned that in Bridge you can kind of create your own content. It's really, really simple to do in Bridge. As I say, you can bring in those external content courses very, very easily. But if you wanted to create, I'll go into that yoga course actually. This is what the authoring tool looks like. I mean, if you could use Word or PowerPoint, you could build an e-learning course in Bridge. It's really, really quite simple. That's all I'll cover in this section. I've obviously mentioned that Bridge is a learning and talent development platform, so let's just switch across to that for a little bit. So Bridge gives you the opportunity to do things like go through a series of vision and value exercises, talking about what drives you, what motivates you, the type of activities you want to do at the pinnacle of your career, what skills are critical to success in your career, what future roles you might be looking at. It's very easy then to build a development plan focusing on specific skills and linking learning to that. For this skill, I'm going to do this course, set this goal, do this task, and things like that. Talking of goals, you can go into the goals area in Bridge. You've got visibility of company goals, and you've got visibility of team goals. So when you're setting your individual goals, you can align them to those team and company goals for a sort of sense of contribution and impact. Skills feedback, you can obviously request skills feedback. I'm a director of international sales, so I can go ahead and say these are the skills that I want to be assessed upon. They might be connected to my performance goals or my career aspirations. I can specify who should give me that feedback, like 360, myself, my manager, my peers, and go ahead and request that feedback, and I can see that data in Bridge to kind of give me a sense of what I should be focusing on. A couple of other things I'll quickly mention, some connection things in Bridge. So, for example, with Bridge will build an automatic organisational chart. This is more for connection across the organisation, regardless of department, location, seniority. So from your HR system, data comes into Bridge. You can essentially pull it into Bridge automatically. It builds this dynamic chart. Here's me, my direct reports, my manager, again, my teammates. But everyone gets the opportunity to build a profile. Anyone can find me. This is where to contact me, where I sit in the organisation. These are the skills that I'm good at and am prepared to help others with. These are the skills which I'm bad at and would like some help from others. As you're probably gathering, time management is not my strong suit. So if I click on time management as a skill, it surfaces for me potential mentors, people that have said, hey, we're good at time management and we're prepared to help you. So I can maybe connect with Laurie, go ahead, build a one-on-one agenda and that type of thing, start to share knowledge. And finally, you've got a lot of really great managerial tools as well. So as a manager, I can see my direct reports here, see when I've last met them. If I engage with Ted specifically, I can see Ted's learning, Ted's feedback, Ted's goals, Ted's career vision. So everything he's focusing on and working towards, I've got it all at my fingertips. So when we have our one-on-ones, we're building combined agendas, I'm really informed that we can have way more meaningful conversations. Okay, with that said, I'm going to show you the journeys feature, which essentially is what this presentation is all about. Right, learning journeys. Remember everything I said in the presentation. To build those in Bridge, we go to the author workspace. We go to the journeys settings here. I'm going to start to create a new journey. So you add on a big button that says Add New Journey. I'm going to call this one, just for the sake of simplicity, onboarding. And I'm going to basically say this is onboarding for new hires. Oops, new hires. Now I can just simply start adding steps. So you can add all of those steps I talked about. Traditional learning like e-learning courses, live trainings, those more experiential elements like checkpoints or asking for feedback or having one-on-one meetings with your manager. You can do it all here. I'm going to basically set an initial course called Welcome to the Team, and I can set a schedule. So I'm going to say that's going to be available immediately. I'll add another step, and I'll add a program this time. So a program, if you remember, was a number of different steps in a short form learning pathway. I'll add the onboarding program. Again, it could comprise live trainings, e-learnings, some checkpoints and things like that. I'm going to say that's available after a 5-day delay. So that won't be assigned until 5 days after completing the previous step. Let's add a checkpoint. So I'll maybe as part of the experiential elements, we asked them to do some job shadowing. So I'm going to say basically, build a job shadowing report, and I want you to do that again, maybe 10 days or weeks or months or whatever after the previous step. A lot of our clients use checkpoints for this actually. When they're doing job shadowing, they might provide a rubric as part of that checkpoint or some questions, or maybe just asking for a report on how that job shadowing went. Let me add some more experiential steps so we can add actions. Go ahead and have a meeting with your manager. So discuss the first 90 days with your manager. Well, let's do that on a certain date. So I want everyone on the 31st of October to do that. And then finally, let's add some feedback. So again, you can either request start, stop, continue feedback, which actually is quite good for an onboarding use case because maybe you want to get a broader sense from more people how that employee's doing, what they're doing well, what they should start doing, that type of thing. Or maybe some skills feedback. A lot of our clients maybe put a skills feedback request at the top of a journey to kind of get a benchmark, work through the journey, then do another skills assessment to see if there's been any improvement, which is quite a good idea. We go ahead and publish that. Let me just show you one that's already been built out. So this is one that's way more kind of extensive. You can see all the different steps, the different schedules. So that will just launch and just drip feed that content to anyone that's enrolled. If we take a look at how we enroll people, I'll delete that and do it again. So if we add people, I can add maybe a new hire group or a leadership group or whatever it might be. Now, when anyone is added, so this thing automates, because if someone comes from your HR system into Bridge, they're flagged as a new learner, so they automatically go into the new hire group, then they're automatically enrolled in this journey. So you haven't done anything, it's just kind of happened automatically. So now all of those new starters are enrolled in that journey. If I take a look from a learner perspective, I'm going to go to me, my journeys, I'm enrolled in that journey. it sets expectations beautifully. I can see exactly what I've done, I can see exactly where I am, and I can see exactly what's to come, but it's not over-facing me, because these are locked. I can see that this isn't going to be available until a number of days, weeks, months, subsequent to the step that I'm currently working on. So it's just, and again, from an administrative perspective, I'm not having to assign those steps. It's just going to assign them as we go. So it's just a really compelling way to just deliver those, those traditional learning elements, those experiential learning elements, to really cement learning and really kind of build that growth habits within your organisation in a completely automated way, which is a great experience for employees. 5 minutes early. Wow, look at that. Amazing. I'll take some questions if there's any. Anyone got any? I've got a microphone here. Any questions at all? Or we can just, okay, before you go, the bridge stand is right there, number 19. We've actually got some socks, if you want some socks. That's what you're here for. But if you wanted to talk more about bridge, see a little demo, whatever, give us your details and things, we can bug you forever. Feel free. Thanks very much, guys.